The power within you is stronger than the battle outside of you, Danny Riegel says.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Danny Riegel, and I'm back with another Danny Riegel Chit Chat. As you can see from the title today, we are going to talk about how to not allow your blessings to distract you from God. So one, I want to talk to you guys about what the posture of your heart should be and the posture of your worship should be like before God blesses you. Two, how you should be and how you should act when God does bless you. And lastly, three, how you should be if the blessing is taken away, if you're ever tested and the blessing is removed. And I want to challenge you guys today to understand who God really is and who you are in God. So without further ado, you see my chair and you see me, so you know what that means. Let's get started. So we're just going to jump right into it. And point number one is to honor God before he blesses you. Honor God before the blessing. Okay, it's so important to honor God before the blessing because how you are and who you are before God blesses you determines how you're going to be when he does bless you. If you're somebody who is ungrateful, with what you have and the circumstances that you're in and situations that you're facing, when God blesses you, you won't even be able to acknowledge fully the transformation and the blessing that he's given to you because you weren't able to appreciate what he was doing for you before he elevated you, before he added to your life, right? So it's so important to position your heart to worship God and to honor him for what he's already done, for simply who he is, his goodness, his mercy, his grace, his favor, his love, to really have a heart that is positioned to just truly honoring God, truly loving God for who he is and what he's capable of, and not just for the things that he can do and he can give to you. If you are not grateful, you cannot honor God before it, then you're pretty much setting yourself up for to be in the same position when God does bless you. And then how will you ever balance the difference, outweigh the differences, and see, where God is taking you from? What honoring God before he blesses you, what that does for you is it prepares an atmosphere of thanksgiving. It sets an atmosphere of appreciation because you're able to see where you were and be thankful for it. But then it creates this greater appreciation when God blesses you and elevates you to another level. Now you're able to see, God, I was here and you were so great. And God, I'm here now and you're so much greater. You're so much more amazing. So that brings me to point number two. When God actually blesses you, point number two is honor God with and in the blessing. If God gives you a new job, the way you honor God with your job and you bless him with the job is that you do the things that you say you were going to do before you get the job. You need to show up to work on time. You need to thank God every day for that job, okay? You need to make sure that you pay your tithes and offering. That should not even be a question asked, because there was a point in time where you probably couldn't even pay tithes and offering, and you was holding that envelope like, Jesus, when I get the money, I'm going to be able to do it right? So you got to make sure that when God gives to you who you were before, it trickles on and you still continue to be the person that wants to serve God, that wants to do right by God. If he gives to you, he provides to you, you still have to have that heart to give to him. You cannot allow the job to distract you. All of a sudden now God gave you a new job, now you're too tired from work to go to church services. You're too tired to pray because you working. When God blesses you, you can't forget about him. You can't allow that to distract you. That's like God giving me a new place and I don't ever keep it clean, or I don't ever pray in my house. Like that doesn't even make sense. It's like a math equation, okay? 1 + 2 is going to equal 3 all day long. Just like you plus God is going to equal blessings. Like that's just what comes with God, right? So just like I can take 3 and I subtract 2 from 3, I'm going to have 1. And if I take my blessing and I subtract God, then it's just me. Who am I without the blessing? Who am I without God? First of all, if I don't have God, I can't be blessed. Okay? If I have a blessing, but I take God out of it, who am I without God? Okay? There's no substance there's no substance with anything that you have that's a blessing if you do not have God in it, okay? It's simply a thing of this world. So we have to honor God with the things that he gives to us, because we have to understand that all of our blessings come from him. They come from him, they come through him. And that brings me to my last and final point. Just like our blessings come from God, God is the one that can take them away. But I want to talk about this really quickly, because this is the story of Job. This is where that scripture comes from. Every time I hear someone say, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, then I usually hear it in a sense like you should be afraid. Like, humble yourself, sis. That's kind of how I take it. It's like, never get too comfortable with what you have, because God can take it right away. But I really feel like that puts God in a bad light. Like, it's making it seem like God just going around taking stuff from you. Like, that's like me saying like, oh, God gave me this water, but if I drink it the wrong way, he gonna snatch it out of my hand. Like, that's not even how it even happened in the story, and that's not even how God is, pertaining it for us to even see that. Job was a rich man, he was very blessed and favored by God. And here comes Satan. Here comes Satan, the accuser, and he's just like, God, yeah, you think that Job is so great, and this is the Danny Rigo, summon version. But he's like, God, you think Job is so great, but he's not really that great. And I bet you if you take all these things from him, he won't be loving you. He won't be respecting you like you think he will. And God is like, I know Job. Job is going to still be good. So the Lord took everything from Job. He took away the kids died, all his animals and everything was taken away. Okay. Job, he wept for just a little bit. Literally, Job, if you read the scripture, Job was like, he wept, he tore the clothing, he shaved his head, and he went into worship. He didn't even weep for that long. And he acknowledged God and he worshiped God. The enemy had limited power, number one. Let's start there, okay? So anything that happens to us and that the opposer or the accuser does to us, or if just things happen, God is still in control. The enemy was a little puppet to God's plan. Like, God was intentional, and God was not trying to come against Job in the story. He was not taking these things, because he felt like he had to prove himself to the enemy, and he was not taking these things because he wanted to just punish Job for anything. It was the simple fact, and what we need to understand is that, yes, the Lord giveth and the Lord can take away from you. But the reason why he can do that is because he is God, and he's the one that can provide all things. So because he is the provider, because he is the source, of course he has the power to take it away. You know what I mean? So it's not for us to walk around like, holding on to everything like, oh my God, let me just be thankful because, God can take this job away from me. But of course you want to be appreciative of, the things that God gives to you and gives to us. But it's to really understand who God is, the magnitude of who he is. Once at the end of the story, Job came to realization after God answered him. Job came to realization like, you are God. And, that's just, again, the summon version. And God forgave him. And God blessed him double for his trouble. Okay? He was blessed. He lived past 100. Okay? But anyway, essentially all I'm trying to say is, this is why it's important that we can't allow our blessings to distract us from God, because God is the one who gives us our blessings. Okay, God is the one who provides these things to us. And if we don't truly have a heart for God, if we don't truly love God for just simply who he is, and we don't try to understand who God is and just that's it, then we will miss him and it will make it harder for us if we lose the blessing, because we're missing that the blessing is God. Do you hear me? The blessing is God, and you can't get anything without him, okay? So do not, you guys, do not allow the blessing to distract you from God. Honor God with everything that he gives to you, and before he even gives you anything, give it to him, okay? There's a plenty of things that I'm believing God for. But you know what? Before I have it, I'm giving it to God. I said, God, I honor you with what you're preparing for me before you even give it to me, because God, it already belongs to you. Okay, it already belongs to you. And you have to give to God what you're expecting from him, because you have to understand who it comes from, who it belongs to. That anything that God gives us is borrowed, okay? He's adding to you, okay? So remember that, you guys. Remember that. Do not allow any blessing to distract you from God, because you can't be blessed without him. You can't be blessed without him. So that's really it. That's all I have for today. And I'm so glad that you guys join me. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you share, you guys. I'm gonna also leave my Facebook link at the bottom so you guys can go ahead and like my Facebook page as well. You guys, believe in God for miraculous things for your life. I'm praying that the full manifestation of God take place in your life this year, that your relationship continues to grow and build with him, you guys. We do not want to live in complacency. We do not want to live inside the comfort zone and putting limitations on God. We do not want to just know God for just the basics. We want to know God for who he is in his fullest and most greatest magnitude. So you guys, thank you again for watching this video. And as always, there's only one of me and one of you. So be the best version of yourself and be regal. Later.